राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी यशोधानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोधानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोधानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोधानंद यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा 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 माधव Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवतीर्नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Canto 6, Chapter 2, Text 41. Tato gunebhya atmanam ततो गुणेभ्य आत्मानं वियुज्यात्मा समाधिना युयुजे भगवद्धाम्नि ब्रह्मणि अनुभवात्मनि ततो गुणेभ्य आत्मानं वियुज्यात्मा समाधिना युयुजे भगवद्धाम्नि ब्रह्मणि अनुभवात्मनि गुणेभ्य आत्मानं वियुजात्मा समाधिना भगवद्धाम्नि ब्रह्मणि अनुभवात्मनि ततो गुणेभ्य आत्मानं वियुजात्मा समाधिना युयुज्ये भगवद्धाम्नि ब्रह्मणि अनुभवात्मनि. Word to word meaning. Tataha, thereafter, gunebhyaha, from the modes of material nature. Atmanam, the mind. Viyujya, detaching. Atma samadhina, by being fully engaged in devotional service. Yuyuje, engaged. Bhagavaddhamni, in the form of the Lord. Brahmani, which is Parabrahman, not idol worship. Anubhava Atmani, which is always thought of, beginning from the lotus feet and gradually progressing upward. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Ajamela fully engaged in devotional service. Thus he detached his mind from the process of sense gratification and became fully absorbed in thinking of the form of the Lord. Purport. If one worships the deity in the temple, one's mind will naturally be absorbed in thought of the Lord and his form. There is no distinction between the form of the Lord and the Lord himself. Therefore, Bhakti Yoga is the most easy system of yoga. Yogis try to concentrate their mind upon the form of the super soul, Vishnu, within the heart. But this same objective is easily achieved when one's mind is absorbed in the deity worshipped in the temple. In every temple, there is a transcendental form of the Lord, and one may easily think of this form. By seeing the Lord during the arati, by offering bhoga, and by constantly thinking of the form of the deity, one becomes a first-class yogi. This is the best process of yoga as confirmed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita 6.47. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmanam Shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo matah. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. The first class yogi is he who controls his senses and detaches himself from material activities by always thinking of the form of the Lord. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupak Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakhanvitamscha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvise Namaham He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sandubhya Evacham Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaham Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So welcome everyone for today's Bhagavatam class. So before I start, I would seek the blessings of all the devotees so that I can speak something properly on this great subject for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees. So in this verse today, the main focus of the discussion is on the Prabhupada talks about how it is easy, how this process of deity worship is the most easiest process. So that's the main focus what Prabhupada is. So mainly two things. One, Prabhupada talks about how the process of deity worship is very easy to naturally absorb a thought on the form of the Lord. That is one thing. And also he compares it with the process of the yogis who try to meditate on the Lord. So that same thing can be very easily achieved through the process of deity worship. So the main theme of today's discussion will be discussing on how this deity worship, how this is the most easiest form of the Lord and most easiest way to approach the Lord. Okay. And also today being the month of Margari, the month of Margasirsha, this is the month dedicated to Andal's Tirupavai. So we have Andal also. So we will also be speaking on that today's verse also, which is also connected to the theme of today. So that's what we will do today. So if you see, a lot of elections, everything is going on right outside, recently done. So generally, one thing we see, many of these politicians, right, one common things what we do, one common, one tactics or campaign tactics, what they do is, they go to so many places and very poor people and then they sit and eat with them or embrace them, correct? This is something we can see across. And that is captured in the newspaper and media and everything and they put it like, this person is. So what happens is generally a person of very high status, when he comes down and interacts with people of so-called lower status, right, other people. So that is very much attractive to people, right? It's very attractive, everyone, it's in media, everywhere it is there. It's a point of focus and everyone glorifies. See, such a person, he is coming and he is talking with normal people and all those, right? So, so this particular quality of a very great person or some person who was in a great position, who comes down and mixes with people of other strata, lower strata comparatively, as if he is among one of them. Okay. So this particular quality is what is called as Saushiliam. Saushiliam, right? We also have, some people have the name Sushil and all that. Saushiliam means what? The definition is a genuine friendship shown by great men towards humble folk assuming full equality. That means, got it right? Some person who is in a high position, he comes down and mixes with people of lower than him and he doesn't see any difference. He sees that they are equal to myself, like that. So this quality is called Saushiliam. Okay. So in English, there is a specific word for this. It is called condescending, it is called, condescending. Okay. That's the specific word. What it means is, the dictionary says that voluntary assumption of equality with a person regarded as inferior. So someone regarded as inferior, but voluntarily one accepts equal friendship with him, right? We see this many times, big prime minister, chief minister, they come and drive and come in the metro with the other, sitting with other people. That's very attractive to people. That's the news of the day, right? So this word is what is called as condescension. So generally what we see is many times these political people, they have some agenda, right? They are not really true in many cases, right? They just want to make a show for that. But Lord also having this great quality of condescending quality, this quality of condescension, you can say, right? So, but he doesn't have any hidden agenda. Actually, even though he's Atmarama, fully satisfied, he doesn't have to show off or anything. But still, Lord descends because he doesn't want to vote or anything. But he still comes down out of his infinite compassion to the living entities. Right? Lord comes to this word. So this word, I was just searching for this word condescending, whether this is used in Prabhupada books. So it is used by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur as well as Prabhupada. I will just read some paragraph, one paragraph. So in Brahma Samhita, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes, so we can hear this very beautiful English. I will just read few sentences. Poor human understanding cannot possibly make out how the extensive tri-quadrilateral, which is beyond human comprehension, can be accommodated in the limited neither material universe of a unique quadrilateral disclosure. Basically what he is telling is the Tripada Vibhuti, the spiritual world, it descends to the material world. This is in the context of Brahma Samhita where it says the spiritual Goloka, it descends into the Gokula of the material world. So, Gokula is a spiritual plane, hence his condescended position in the region of material space, time, etc. is in no way restricted but unlimitedly manifested with his full boundness propriety. But conditioned souls are apt to assert a material conception in regard to Gokula by their miserable senses so as to bring him below the level of their intellect. Okay. So here, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has used this word, condescended. Like, no? Condescending means, see, actually this word condescending also has a negative meaning. Many times it is used in a negative sense that someone from their position they have come down like that. But Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they all used in the sense of what we talked about, Saushiliam. Saushiliam means this quality what we talked about. So similarly, we also see Srila Prabhupada using in one of the purports. We know this purport of, we know this famous shloka, Nama Pankaja Nabhaya, Nama Pankaja Maline. So Prabhupada uses that also in this purport. I will just read. Because such fallen souls cannot see anything beyond matter, the Lord condescends to enter into each and every one of the innumerable universes as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, who grows a lotus stem from the lotus-like depression in the center of his transcendental abdomen, and thus Brahma, the first living being in the universe, is born. Therefore, the Lord is known as Pankaja Nabhi. So Prabhupada also uses this word in the same sense of the Lord condescending and entering into every innumerable universe and planets. Okay? So condescending means that's, you can say, somewhat equivalent word to this Saushiliam quality. Okay? So let us see how Lord condescends or how the Lord manifests in this world in various forms. So as Prabhupada mentions in this particular purport, what we read, how Lord condescends into each and every innumerable universes as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. So this is the first manifestation of the Lord. So Lord who is in the spiritual world, Golok, Vrindavan and the Vaikuntha planets. So what he does, he descends to this material world. Right? This is this Saushiliam or his condescending quality. So first what we know is, he comes in the, he expands at the Chaturvyuha, right? Chaturvyuha and then Lord Narayana and then the second Chaturvyuha, right? We know that. And then from there, the Mahavishnu, then Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu and Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. So this whole, this sort of, we can say, this whole expansions of the Lord, you can consider as Vyuha avatar, Vyuha manifestation of the Lord. So Vyuha is one of the manifestations, this quadruple expansion. Okay. So this is one expansion through which what happens? The Lord who is actually in the spiritual world, Lord is accessible only to people of the spiritual residents, residents of Golok Vrindavan or the Vaikuntha Loka. Right? It is not accessible to all others. But when he comes to this as a, it's a Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, milk ocean, which is part of the material world, right? It is near the Satya Loka, which is, I think it is Pole Star. Pole Star is what Prabhupada says is the place where Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu is there, right? The Shweta Dvipam, what we call it as. So then what happens? All the devatas, when are they in trouble, they all approach there, right? We hear this in Krishna book and many places. Brahma along with all the demigods, they all approach there and they give their, what is their problem or distress, and then Lord reciprocates. That's how it is. So this is the first manifestation of the Lord in this material existence. Vyuha. Second, apart from this, the Lord comes in innumerable incarnations, avatars, right? Vibhava avatara. So Lord comes as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narsimha, Vamana, Lord Ram, so many avatars he comes. So there also, that is also a manifestation of his condescending nature or Saushiliam. That means giving up his great position, he comes and mixes with the people of this world, right? So specifically, in the Acharyas glorify the Lord Rama is specifically exhibited this quality of Saushiliam. Even within the avatars, Lord Ram's quality of the Saushiliam is glorified a lot. Okay. For example, mainly Lord Ram, when he mixed with all, so mainly in the Kamba Ramayanam also, in the Tamil Ramayanam, it says Lord Ram, he meets Guha and then make friend, embraces, accepts everyone, right? So when he meets Vibhishana, you know what he says? He says, my father had 4 children, right? Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna. But he was not very satisfied with that. So he has sent us to the forest to get more brothers. So he says that with Guha we became 5 brothers. With Guha we became 5 brothers. And with Sugriva we became 6 brothers. And with you, you are my 7th brother. Like that he embraces him. So this is glorified so much that how Lord Ram is like Ikshvaku Vamsa, is in that dynasty, but he comes and mixes with all of them as equals, right? And says that you are like my Atma Saka, like that he makes friendship with them. So this is glorified, and also we see many other great devotees like Shabari, many others Lord mixes. So this, so in fact, Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki jai, Shri Gauranitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada. So in the Ramayanam also, the beginning, when Valmiki is inquiring to Narada, right, what listing all the qualities, right? So there's a shloka where he says, Kon vasmin sampradam loke, gunavan kascha viryavan dharmagyascha krit, like that he lists 16 qualities. So what is the first quality? The first quality is gunavan. So it may be a little confusing. He is listing all the gunas, and the first guna is gunavan, he says. So there the Acharyas explain what is this Gunavan. Gunavan means this must be some very prominent quality, right? See, for example, we have a big program where, for example, Radhesham Prabhu is giving a class, okay, in Bhaktivedanta Hall or something. So someone comes and asks, yes, Prabhuji come. That means what? Everyone is Prabhuji only. Everyone we address as Prabhu. But when we say Prabhuji means he is the prominent person in that meeting, right? So that is a prominent, so that's why we just address as Prabhu. Whether Prabhu has come or Maharaj has come, like that. So similarly, Gunavan here, Acharya says, it refers to this guna of Saushiliam, of, not considering his great position and coming down and mixing with people of other, this one. So that we see in the avatars also. Of course, Lord Krishna also is much more, he doesn't even see, In fact, one devotee was telling in a lighter mood that you see Krishna, you see Lord Ram, you just note whom he mixed with. He mixed with all the leaders of these people, right? You see, Guha is a leader of all the Nishadas, and then Sugriva also, and Vibhishana also is going to be the king. But you see Krishna is much more, he mixes with everyone, all cowherd boys and everyone, so his quality is much more exhibited, like that. So, and then the fourth, so we have this in the spiritual world, Lord is there and it descends as Vyuha, and then avatars, and then the fourth aspect, what we see is the Antaryami. So, Lord enters into Andantarastha Paramana Chayantaratam. He entered into every atom and everything, and also enters into all of us as in each of the living entities as Paramatma. Okay? So this is the fourth manifestation of the Lord. So Antaryami. So whichever species we go, whether one takes the body of an ant or a pig or whatever it is, Lord accompanies us as Paramatma, right? Prabhupada also mentions in many places. So this is also his condescending nature, right? Not considering his greatness, but following. Generally we totally ignore the Lord, right? We totally ignore. But still he always accompanies us. Okay. And also he sustains the entire universe. So this is his fourth manifestation of Antaryami. So, and the fifth one is what the focus of today's discussion is Archa Vigraha, right? The deity form of the Lord. So where the Lord, in the same purport, I just continue. The Pankajanabi Lord accepts the Archa Vigraha, his transcendental form in different elements. Namely, a form within the mind, a form made of wood, form made of earth, form made of metal, form made of jewel, and a form made of paint, a form made of sand, etc. All such forms of the Lord are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, and there should be a soothing atmosphere in the temple of worship to attract the burning attention of the non-devotees always engaged in the material wranglings. So this is from the same shlokas purport. So this is Lord's manifestation as Archa Vigraha. That means, since we can only see and perceive as the material elements, Lord manifests through that and accepts our seva, right? So this is another great quality of the Saushiliam of the Lord. Lord manifests to us, available to us. So now, someone may have a doubt. Okay, see, someone may be available like that. See, basically this condescending nature is about availability, right? Whether Lord is available within us, any person is available to us, accessible or available mainly. So one may have a doubt, okay, someone may condescend or someone may come down to that position, but is he really capable of solving our problem? Is he having capability? And also not only capability, does he have interest also? Correct, na? See, someone may have capability, but why when someone have interest in us? Right? It's not that if someone will come and say, no, I will help you, what is your, no, right? So that is where the next quality is explained. So there are this, we'll be discussing on the 4 qualities, which is mainly required for someone who gives shelter, right? Sarvatmanayam Sharanam Sharanyam, we say, right? Lord is also called Sharanyam, who gives shelter to his devotees. So the second quality is what will give one faith and confidence that Lord will protect us. The second quality, what is called as Swamitvam. Swami means what? Swami means, the literal meaning of the word Swami is the proprietor or the owner, right? Proprietor, and we are like the property, right? So Swami means he is the proprietor and we are the property. So like Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, right? There are mainly, everything is Krishna's property, but can be classified into 2. One is Bhumirapo Onalo Vayu Kammono Buddhi Revacha Ahankara Ityame Binna Prakriti Rishtala. That is one. And the second is Apareye Mitastvanyam Prakriti Vidhi Me Param. So this Achit, matter, and then Chit. Both are Lord's property, right? So because it is Lord's property, he has more interest. Actually, in one of the purports Prabhupada also says, right? Lord is more interested to take us back than what we are interested in, correct? So because he is the owner, see, generally owner has some, or proprietor has having more attachment to the property, correct? No? Proprietor is more concerned about property than anyone else, right? So because we are the property of the Lord, Lord has more concern on us, actually. He has concern and interest on us. Okay? So that is one very important quality. So then we get confidence and faith. Lord will never leave us. Wherever we are going, Lord will never leave us. So he has that interest on us, and not only that, he has the capability, right? He has the greatness, right? Bhoktaram, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, we said, he is the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the owner of everything. So he has the capability also, correct? See, just because someone is available, that doesn't mean he'll be able to solve the problem. He should have the capability also, right? So Lord has that quality of the Swamitvam or Lordship, or you can say greatness, the proprietorship, or then he is the proprietor of everything. So 2 main things what we see here is, he has got great interest or in us to take us back home, back to Godhead. And then he also has the capability and potency and greatness. Okay? So this is the second quality what we see. And the third, what happens is generally when we see a person is great or is like a Swami or a Lord, what happens? What will come to our mind immediately? We will have some hesitation and fear, right? So I am having so many faults. I have how to approach such a person, correct? So a very pure person, very weak person is there, means we will find it difficult to meet them, because I have so many faults. How can I approach them? So that is the fear which may have, like, or he may punish us. So, Supreme Lord, he knows everything, what has happened. Like, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridesha Arjuna Tishtati. Like, whatever, what is there in everyone's heart, he knows everything, every moment, what we think, everything he knows. So then immediately we become fearful. He may punish us, because I am thinking this bad things and all those things, right? So then comes the third quality, which is called as Vatsalyam. Okay. So this Vatsalyam, when we talk in this context, it's not more from the parental affection perspective. This is more of Vatsalya, means overlooking faults. Okay, because of this only that parental, this is also. Because if you see in parents, generally, parents are always of that nature. Children will keep on doing mistake, parents have to keep forgiving only. Correct? That's the quality of Vatsalya. That's why that Vatsalya is associated with parental affection. So this Vatsalya means what? Overlooking faults, and sometimes looking that fault also as something good. That's what is glorified as Vatsalya. So this word Vatsalyam comes from the this cow and the calf, right? See, calf, as you know, calf, when the cow gives birth to the calf, what happens? It is so dirty, filled with mucus, stool and urine and everything. So, but the cow, mother cow, licks the entire calf and make it clean, and it relishes that also, makes it very clean out of great affection. So that is the quality of Vatsalyam. That means he doesn't see the bad quality and overlooking the faults which we are having. This is a great thing for us, right? Because if we see in this material world, generally what is done, everything is generally, everyone is, we see many times people say, right, spiritual life means it is difficult, or we also feel sometimes. But actually, if we see in the material world, we see all these exams, competitive exam, what is the main goal? Eliminate people on faults, correct? Someone may have 3 faults, someone may have 100 faults, someone may have less number of faults. You eliminate people, correct? You have some lakhs of people attempting, and then finally only few hundreds are selected. Correct? That means what is mainly looked at? Eliminate people looking at their faults. Even if you do one single fault, you are eliminated. And someone who has not done correct, quite difficult, right? It is so difficult. But whereas here, how it is totally opposite. Lord is full of faults only. We are full of faults. But Lord, what he is doing, he is just seeing one good quality is there. He's saying, okay, good, entry given inside. Okay, so that's how it is. So totally opposite. So that means what? This is most easiest process, right? The most easiest thing. Much. So this is one important quality which gives us confidence, right? Correct. So this gives us confidence. That's why if we see all the great acharyas or their Vaishnava songs also, right? Daily what we sing, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Kora More, Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagata Sansare, Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar, Mosama Patita Prabhu Napayara. That gives us a lot of confidence and hope, right? That means you are called as Patita Pavan, I am the lowest of all. So my claim should be first, right? Many songs we have this. We have another song also, no? What is that? Goranga Karuna Koro. There also it is said. No? Goranga Karuna Koro, Dina Hina Jane, Mosama Patita Pavu Navi Tribhuwane. There also he says that Yadi Doya Rakoribe, Patita Dekia, Patita Pavana Nama Kisera Lagya. So if you don't deliver me, what is the use of you having like that? No devotees claim using this quality of Vatsalya, what Lord has. Devotees even claim the priority. Please accept me like that. So this gives a lot of hope and confidence to us. That means, so this is one great quality what we see. That means he looks for little good qualification and accepts, gives us entry inside, right? So what we saw first is Lord descends into this world in these various forms, and then he is not only that he is capable and he has great interest in us because we are part and parcel of we are part and parcel, right? So he has great interest in us. And the third what we say is, we may have the fear of getting punished because of this greatness. He knows everything, he is all-knowing and everything. You may have the fear of punishing. So then this Vatsalya Gunam is there. But still, see, one may, see all this thing may be there, but still one may have a hesitation or, how to approach. Accessibility is important, right? That means, see, there may be a person who is very capable and who is also not looking fault and all, but is a very approachable person, accessible, or it is very ease of access, you say, no? Very easily accessible or easy to relate to, or is a person very simple in dealings, correct? See, for example, even if you look at Lord Ram and Krishna, many times the example is given. See, Lord Ram, when you think of, you can't think of like, going and embracing and all these things, right? But when you think of Krishna, it is, this, so this ease of access, what is called as Sulabham, very easy. So that is there so much, correct? You can see in the personality of Lord Ram and Krishna also, right? So even if other things are there, the most important quality for us is accessible, ease of access. That means I can go and access that person. He is available also, right now? Available means available, he descends into the world in various forms, but he should be physically present for us at that particular time and place and everything, correct? At that particular time, place, and according to our circumstances, one should be present also and able to simply deal without any, without any fear or hesitation or this one. So this quality is what is called as Saulabhyam. Okay, Saulabhyam means you can call it a simplicity or ease of access, accessibility. You can say, right? That's what it is. So this quality is also extremely important. Correct? For us, that's the most important to approach the Lord. So what we will do is we will see one of the great acharyas in the Sri Vaishnava tradition. His name is Pillai Lokacharya. He has given a very nice example of how this quality of Saulabhyam is present in the various forms of the Lord whom we discussed, and how it is most simple or most simplest or most accessible is in the form of the Archa Vigraha, or the deity form of the Lord. Okay. So, assume a person is very thirsty, wants to drink water. Okay. So he approaches different people and asking, I want to catch my thirst. So this person seeking for water can be compared to a person seeking association of the Lord, or want to surrender to the Lord. Okay. That's the analogy you can. So he asks different people. First person he asks, I am very thirsty. I want water. So what the first person says, he says, there is water. You want water? There is unlimited water in the Viraja river. The Viraja river which separates the material and spiritual world. There is unlimited water. You can quench your thirst there. One says, okay, water may be there, so much unlimited, but it's not accessible at all, right? It's beyond the material world only. So another person says, okay, you want to quench your water, right? There is this milk ocean which is available. So there you can, not only water you can quench, take milk also you can. So that is, in one sense, you can say it is accessible, right? It is within the world, but still for us it is much, much far, right? As good as spiritual world only, correct? That milk ocean and all is totally not accessible to us. So the first one is compared to the Lord in the spiritual world, right? That means is in the spiritual world, it is similar to the water in the outer covering of the universe, that Viraja river. So the second, the milk ocean, the person explained, it is compared to the Vyuha. So the Vyuha, even though it is material world, but it is not accessible to us, to the Devatas. And even in Devatas, what we see, right, in Krishna book, it's not that they go and directly talk to the Lord. No? They outside, they pray, offer prayers, Purusha Shuktam and everything, and then Lord transmit message to Brahma, and that's how it comes, correct? Even for them, it is so difficult. Accessibility is not. So the third is the, another person said, oh, you want to drink water? Actually, that was a very hot summer time. So he said, oh, there is a flooding river which is there nearby. There you can quench your thirst. But unfortunately, it was not flooding at that time. Correct, no? Right? Flooding river means water, lot of water flows in the river. But river also has ups and downs. Summer season generally, it is dried up, and some rainy season there is a lot of water like that. So that is compared to the Vibhava avatar, Vibhavam, or the avatars of the Lord, which is main thing is it is constrained by time and place. Certain region Lord appears, and also time also. Correct? No? See, all the avatars appeared, but now at this time we don't have access directly, right? So that is the constraint of the river. So the next person said, why you are worrying about the milk ocean and this and that? Very simple. Where you are standing, just down below you there is water. You can drink. Just groundwater is there. No? When you drill down water, there is water available. So he says, very simple. The water is done down below. So that also is so complicated, correct? It's down below as water, but you have to put drill and so much instruments, and then only we can extract water. Correct? It is available, but it is not very easily accessible. Right? So that is compared to the Antaryami, Paramatma. So unless through the process of Ashtanga Yoga, one meditates on the Lord. So that is what Prabhupada also says here in this purport. So, which is so difficult for the, So yogis try to concentrate their minds upon the form of the Lord Vishnu within their heart, but the same objective is easily achieved when one's mind is absorbed in the deity worshipped in the temple. So the fourth person, what he said, the fifth person, another person he came and told, actually you want to quench your thirst, there are ponds here nearby. Also wells are there. So that is compared to that. So whenever there is any flood or anything river, that ponds are all getting filled, right? So that is that Archa Vigraha, deity form of the Lord. If you see in a deity form of the Lord, mostly it is one of the Archa, incarnations of the Lord, right? Like Krishna, Lord Ram, Varaha, Narsimha, right? All these deity forms of the Lord are mostly the Vibhava incarnations, their expansions. And also at our homes, at every different homes also we have our own deities. So that can be compared to the wells, like small wells, which is most easily accessible, correct? At our home only with well or tap water, maybe from modern terms. From tap you open, you get water, right? Like that. So this is compared to the Archa Vigraha. That means most easily accessible to everyone. So this is the example given through which we understand that all these different qualities what we talked about. So, one thing is all this quality, these four qualities what we talked about till now. First one is the Saushiliam or the condescending nature. Second is this Swamitvam or the lordship or is the Swami, that thing. And the third one is Vatsalyam, that means overlooking faults. Not. So and the fourth one what we saw was most important is Saulabhyam, that means ability to access him. So accessibility wise if we see like what Prabhupada compares in this purport, see if you look at it, two of this, Antaryami and Archa, all are available at this point also, right, for everyone. Right? Prabhupada compares, but out of these two, if you see, there is a big difference, correct? Antaryami, very difficult to access, Paramatma within one's heart. But Archa Vigraha is most easily accessible. Right? That's what Prabhupada also compares here between these two of yogis and the process of yoga and also the process of deity worship. So, even though all these qualities, whatever, see, these are all four qualities for a person who capable of giving shelter. There are many other qualities also, but specifically for this. But if you see, even these qualities are also present in the Lord in the spiritual world, correct? It's not that he is deficient or anything like that. He is also having all these qualities. But the example is given that all these qualities in the law for the Lord in the spiritual world, it is compared to the lamp in the daytime. Right? All the qualities are like the lamp, but it is in the daytime. It is not of much use. That means there is no scope of exhibiting Correct? So for example, you think about, Vatsalyam and all that, there is no scope only. Everyone is perfect beings there. So what is the scope? There is no scope to exhibit those qualities. So that is compared to the lamp in the daytime. It is very bright, wonderful qualities, but it is like in the daytime. There is no scope to manifest. No scope for manifesting those qualities or exhibiting those qualities. Whereas these qualities in the material world are compared to lamp in darkness. Material world is place of darkness. There, those qualities are very, very. When we hear about Lord, how He is descending to this world and available to us, how He has great concern for us and He is capable to protect us, and mainly, He is ready to forgive all our faults and accepts us, and then easy to approach. So all these qualities is much more appealing to the material, all of us, right? Those who are in the material world. So that is a very important aspect also. And also, mainly what we see is this Archa form of the Lord has all these qualities completely. So mainly, as we saw, that last quality of Saulabhyam or the easy accessibility is fully present in the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord. Most accessible in this material world. Right? That's what we saw, right? These two are accessible in the substance, it is available in this Antaryami, but as Prabhupada compares in the purport, Antaryami is very, very difficult. Only for great yogis who can Ashtanga Yoga, they can only do this. Okay, I will read one nice shloka from Uddhava Gita, 11th canto. This is what Uddhava says. I will just read the translation. This process is accepted by and appropriate for all occupation and spiritual orders of society. Which process? The process of deity worship. He says, therefore, I consider worship of you in your deity form is to be the most beneficial of all spiritual practices, even for women and Shudras. Okay? So this is what Uddhava says to Krishna. So, that this is most appropriate for all occupations and spiritual orders of society. Okay. Now, one may think, okay, deity worship is there. Okay, that's the most easiest of all. But there is still further simplified one. There is in our South India Yatra, one of the Yatras, one of the descendants of Parashara Bhatta, he was speaking very nice point. What he said, he gave an example. He said, the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord is like the gold biscuit. Like gold biscuit, right? We have a lot gold stored in form of biscuit or some cakes. So he said that is what it is. That means it is what we do generally with if we have gold biscuit or something, we put it in a locker and keep it very safely and keep seeing whether it is proper. That's it. Right? He said Archa Vigraha form is like that. Whereas he said the holy name of the Lord, right? Which is you can say as the sixth manifestation. Okay, he said that is like the jewelry, right? Someone puts a ring or a necklace and all those things. He said that is how the holy name of the Lord is. The Namarupa, Kalikale Namarupe, Krishna Avatar, we say, right? So this manifestation is the most accessible of all. Correct? Huh? Because even for deity worship, we need to be initiated, have some qualities, right? Some pre-qualification. Or even in terms of, for example, suddenly at night, 12 o'clock, we get up. Can we go and access the worship the deity or something? No. For that, what is available most easiest is the holy name of the Lord. So the holy name of the Lord is the most accessible of all. Right? Very, very, that in terms of that Saulabhyam, what we talked about, most easily accessible for all of us. Okay? So now we can understand. See, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Shikshashtakam, Namanamakari, Bahuda Nijasarva Shakti, Tatrarpita Niyamita Smarane na Kalaha. Etadrishi Tavakripa Bhagavan Mamapi, Durdaiva Midrisha Mihajani Ranuraga. So now we can understand how Lord has all the potencies in the holy name and there is no hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Right? He is easily, so merciful and easily available to us. But only problem is, Durdaiva Midrisha Mihajani Nanuraga. We don't have any attraction for him. So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. So now we can understand how the holy name of the Lord is most easily accessible for us. Right? And also that's why we have these two things, right? The Bhagavatam Margan, Pancharatri Marg, both of them, right? Even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his logo, he had put both of this. So we have both the things, most easily accessible, the holy name of the Lord as well as the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord. So now, since we are celebrating book marathon, just few words on that. So one thing what we learn, we learn all these things from Srila Prabhupada books, right? To know about the glory of the holy name and glory of the deity form of the Lord and everything, that is we get from the books, correct? So specifically Srila Prabhupada books, it is so amazing that anyone gets any small book or anything. Definitely these two things one will get. First, everyone will understand Lord as a form. Lord is not impersonal, he has a form. Definitely 100% any book one will understand. And second, about the holy name, correct? So what is the most important thing or most accessible, most effective process for this age? In any book, any small book of Prabhupada, one will read, one will get this message and for sure, 100%, correct? So that's an amazing thing. So this is what is the potency of Srila Prabhupada books, what we are trying to distribute. And I was reading one nice article in Grantharaj, which is run by our Kalachakra Prabhu, who gave Sunday class now. So there one devotee had written very nicely. He said the title was about the most munificent or incarnation of the Lord. So there what he had mentioned was, we have this Archa Vigraha, but still we need some qualification as we discussed. So he said more merciful or more accessible than the Archa Vigraha is the Charcha Vigraha. He talked about Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. He said it is Charcha Vigraha. Right? If you see in one sense, Bhagavatam is about Charcha, right? Parikshit Maharaj and so many different discussions are going on, right? Here also. And similarly, Bhagavad Gita also, a great Charcha between Krishna and Arjuna. And we are also supposed to do Charcha on these things only, right? Whenever we meet. So he said, he had mentioned nicely that Archa Vigraha Lord is there, but more merciful than that is the Charcha Vigraha, right? That means Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. So that is where we have the opportunity to distribute it to people. Right? It's a great thing about Prabhupada's. And I was also thinking, like, how all these qualities, what we are talking about in book distributors or in the process of book distribution itself, it is all there. Right? Lord's greatness, everything is embedded in the books. Right? And then the books are descended actually in a form which is more easy for people to understand. Correct? See, for example, how many of us can understand the commentaries of the Acharyas in Sanskrit and all those? Correct? Very few. There are maybe very few scholars who can do. But Prabhupada has put it in a simple English language. And like we just now read Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Prabhupada English also. Right? What a big difference also. Easily accessible, and it is now translated and available in all languages. Correct? So that whatever we do, this quality of Saushiliam and then all these things are there. And distributors also overlook all the faults and people disrespect, correct? And ridicule, all these things. And also it is available in the most easiest form, right? We go and deliver it to the doorstep, right? Doorstep or to exactly to the person, right? We go to all the schools, Gita contests, and that everyone, and people have so many different interests. I want this, I want that. Everything is satisfied. Right? So just 2 weeks back, we were distributing. One person were asking Bhagavad Gita. One person said, he said, I don't want Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita I don't want. Do you have any book on political life of Krishna? I am interested in that, he said. So we showed him Krishna book and showed all these things. He said, no, you see how Krishna has toppled all the governments of all these people. Kamsa, Jarasandha, all these people. Showed all the photos and he bought the book finally also. So this means we have books and also satisfy desires of so many people also, various different things. Okay. So this is briefly about the greatness of, many other things. I will just skip. So today we will also discuss briefly on the Tirupavai also. So this is the auspicious month of Margazhi, where this Andal, you all know Andal is one of the Alvars, one of the 12 Alvars. And we also have Andal worshipped in our Balaji temple. So just for their pleasure, of Lord Balaji, Andal and Srila Prabhupada and all devotees, would like to recite today's verse in Tamil, and also we'll discuss the meaning little bit on that also. It's very beautiful and it is very much connected with Krishna's arrangement. It is exactly connected to what we discussed also today. So I'll just recite this. You can. This is the 5th verse. Today is the 5th verse of the Tirupavai. மா எனை மண்ணு வட மதுரை மைந்தனை தூய பெருநீர் யமுனை துறைவனை ஆயர் குலத்தினில் தோன்று மணி விளக்கை தாயை குடல் விளக்கம் செய்த தாமோதரனை தூயோமாய் வந்து நாம் தூமலர் தூவித் தொழுது வாயினால் பாடி மனத்தினால் சிந்திக்க போய பிழையும் புகுதருவான் நின்றனவும் தீயினில் தூசாகும் செப்பேலோர் எம்பாவாய். Okay, so the meaning is very nice, very beautiful. So as we all know, this Andal, she is the incarnation of Bhumi Devi. Okay. That means when Varahadev, when he rescued Bhumi, okay, it is said Bhumi, after rescuing also, Bhumi was not fully happy. So Varahadev asked, why you are still not happy? She said, see, you have rescued me, but what about all our children, all the living entities in the world? They are all suffering. How they can be rescued? So please give us a simple process through which they can be rescued. And for that, Varahadev told 2 simple process. He said, one, glorify me with your mouth. I mean, singing the glories of the Lord. One thing. And the second is offering flowers with a pure heart. These two things, if one does, Lord says, I will accept him. So it is said, Andal appeared, this Bhumi Devi appeared as Andal just to preach this message. And today's verse, what we just now recited, that exactly talks about, she puts that message here in this verse. That's the significance of today's verse. Okay, and also this fifth verse, actually this first five verses are like the prelude to the entire Tirupavai. So this Tirupavai, I think you must have heard this. This is like Andal, and along with his friends, she emulates the pastimes of gopis. Gopis doing the Katyayani Vrata to attain Krishna. So they emulate that in the particular mood. Okay, so in the first five verses, what they do is they tell what is the purpose of our Vrata, why we are doing this Vrata to attain Krishna, and then what are the do's and don'ts, what we should do and what we should not do, and by doing this, all prosperity will come. All these things they explain. So in this fifth verse, it is said, one of the girls had a doubt. Okay, we are starting this Vrata. Okay, we are very simple girls of the village girls. We are starting this Vrata and want to do for this entire month. But what if some hindrance may come? See, we have heard about Lord Ram's coronation. See, this was arranged by who? All great personalities. No, Vashishta, Dasharatha, all of them, they made such a big plan and arranged. But finally what happened? That was obstructed. Finally, Lord Ram could not be coronated. We are much more simple people, right? So, what if, see, all of us have so many sins of our past. What if that comes and obstructs? That causes obstruction for the Vrata. Okay? So, like that one girl raises this question. And another girl explains, said, no, be confident. What we will do is all our past sins will be destroyed just by chanting the names of the Lord. Just by chanting the holy names, all our sins will be destroyed just like cotton put in fire. So that's what is the meaning of this verse. So while addressing this, she addresses the Lord in 5 different names. Okay? So very beautiful. I will explain in very brief. This itself can be discussed for an hour. But yeah, so 5 different names he addresses the Lord. First one, what she addresses is Mayanai. Mayan means what? Mayan doesn't mean illusion or false. So this word, generally Mayan is used for Lord Vishnu or Krishna very much in the Tamil literature. So Mayan means what? One who is having one who does wonderful activities. Ascharya, we say, na? Ascharya Adbhut. That is the meaning of this word Mayan. Mayan means what? Lord, one who is, like we also have a chapter in Krishna book, Wonderful Krishna. Right? We have a chapter called Wonderful. So that's what is the meaning. Lord who does wonderful, mysterious activities. That is what is the name of Mayanai. Yeah, of course, this we can say is addressing all the different forms of the Lord also. Anyway, we will not go into that. So second, he says, Vada Madurai Maindanai. So Lord is, Vada Mathura means the north, Mathura in the north. Okay? There is also Mathura in the south, right? Madurai, we have now. So Vada Madurai Maindanai. Vada Madurai Maindanai, who is the son of the Mathura, right? See, sometimes we say, someone from a region or some person, is from this, our area or our person, right? So Krishna is the Vada Madurai Maindanai. He is the sort of lad of, or the son of the Mathura, Mathura Mandal. And then third, she addresses as Tuya Perinir Yamunai Turaivanai. Tuya Perinir means the purest of water of Yamuna. So Turaivanai means one who wanders. We say, right? Yamuna Tira Vanachari. So exactly same, exactly. Yamunai Turaivan means one who wanders in the banks of Yamuna. So Tuya Perinir, she says. Tuya Perinir means the purest water of Yamuna. Okay. So for example, generally, if some 2 people come and we say, he is a very good singer, fantastically sings. If we say, that means what? Actually, it means the other person doesn't sing so nicely. Correct? That's what it means. So Acharyas explain why the Yamuna is stressed Tuya Perinir, because, and many reasons. One is Yamuna washed the feet of Krishna, and Krishna played with gopis in Yamuna, and he gargled waters, everything. Such a so close to Krishna. That is one thing which is there. Plus another thing it is said, there is a comparison made between Yamuna and Godavari. In Ramayana, what happens when Sita is kidnapped by Ravana? There is a verse also where Sita addresses Godavari. Oh Godavari, please, when Rama comes, please convey him that I have been kidnapped by Ravana. There is a verse which specifically she mentions. She addresses Godavari river. So, but it is said that when Lord came and Lord asked everyone, right? That time Godavari, out of fear of Ravana, did not reply, did not tell this. Okay. So, but whereas in the Yamuna, in fact, if you see Godavari is somewhere in Nasik, and Lanka is somewhere down south, right? But just in the backside of Kamsa's palace is what? Yamuna, right? But Yamuna, when at the midnight, when Vasudeva came with Krishna, it paved way for Vasudeva to go. That means just in the backyard of Yamuna, Kamsa, but not afraid of Kamsa at all. So that is why Yamuna is considered so glorious. So Tuya Perinir, she says, it is so pure. Or that is the purity which is explained here. So one may have a doubt, like what about Godavari? You know, is it not pure or something? So one of the acharyas, he tells very nice point. Vedanta Desikan, he says, one of the prayers to Andal, he says that Godavari is that small blemish also was purified by Andal. Was another name of Andal is called Goda. So by the name Goda, which is part of Godavari, right? So by having that name Goda, that Godavari also got purified. That even small that blemish or small mistake what was done by her, that was also purified. And correct. That's why we also take bath in Godavari. That's also pure river like Ganga. So that is why this word Tuya Perinir Yamunai Thuraivan is it. And then the third one, fourth, what he says is what she says, Ayar Gulathinil Thondrum Ani Vilakkai. Ayar Gulam means the cowherd community. Right? So the Ani Vilakkai means he's like the lamp who is born in the cowherd community. As I said, like Lord in the spiritual world, all his qualities is like the lamp in the daytime. But when he comes to this material world, as in his various manifestation, that is like a lamp which is in the darkness. So that is much more, it manifests much more wonderfully. Ayar Gulathinu Thondrum Ani Vilakkai, Thayai Kudal Vilakkam Seida Damodaranai. So Lord, he was Damodara, and by being born as the son of Yashoda, he glorified the greatness of Yashoda. It means he was born in the womb of Yashoda and glorified her womb. Like that. That is the meaning, literal meaning. Who is Damodara? Okay. So one of the acharyas, Parashara Bhatta, was a descendant of, who was son of Kuresh actually. So it is said one devotee was asking in Srirangam temple, no? They used to, the Lord, when they do dressing or bathing and all, no? That time they used to remove the dress and put another short dress down in the hips. So one devotee asked why this is happening, why it is being done. So he said jokingly, he said that actually Lord has a scar in the hip side because he is Damodara. No? When Yashoda tied her, there is a scar and Lord want to cover it like that. Okay, so it is said there are some, it is said in the pastime of Krishna stealing the gopis' garment, used to jump from one tree to another just to, So it is said that time, one of the hip was a little bit shown and the gopis laughed at him. See, you had Damodara, you had this scar like that. So Lord was feeling shy and that is why it is said. I was thinking even in our temple, deities we have that. I don't know, just. So that is, so Acharyas say that Parashara Bhatta says just like how we have various marks, right? We have tilak in all places, right? And now we say that we are the servant of the Lord. Like that, Lord feels very happy that this is the mark, what the Damodara, what he has, that scar or a impression, what he has in the hips, that he very proudly, he puts very happily consider that he is the servant of his devotees. Okay? See, just like how we put tilak in various places to indicate we are servant of the Lord, Lord is very happy that this mark is there for me because I am a servant of my devotees, my mother Yashoda, like that. So, Mayanai, Vadamadurai Maindanai, Tuya Perinir Yamunai Thuraivanai, Ayar Gulathinil Thondrum Ani Vilakkai, Thayar Kudal Vilakkam Seida Damodaranai. So, like all these 5 names, Lord, she is addressing the Lord and he say, that Lord, Tuyomai Vandanam, with a pure heart, we will come. Pure heart means what? Without any we say, Jnana Karma Dhyanavratam. Without any contamination, we come to you and then Tu Malar Tuvi Thurdu. Now, this point of the instruction given by Varahadev, Andal says, I will just finish in 2 minutes. Okay. Tuyomai Vandanam, Tu Malar Tuvi Thurdu. We will offer with pure flowers, we will offer you. Okay. That means Kaya Vacha Manasa. She is going to explain. Tu Malar Tuvi Thurdu, Vayinal Padi. With the mouth, we will sing your glories. And then Manathinal Sindika. We will then contemplate on your great qualities. So with these 3, Kaya, Manasa, Vacha. So when we do that, what will happen? So that was the fear, right? What will happen to our sins will affect the Vrata. That was the fear, right? So what she says is, Tumalar Vainal Badi Manatina Sindika Poya Pidayum. Whatever sins we have done in the past and whatever sins we are going to commit in the future, unknowing sins, okay? Not purposeful sins. Whatever sins we may commit in the future unknowingly, all this will be just like the cotton put in the fire, they will be turned into dust. Right? All the past sins will be turned into dust and all the future, whatever we are unknowingly going to commit, that will also be like, will be like, it is said, water untouched by the lotus leaf untouched by water, like that it will not be touched. It is said. So that is how she concludes this 5th Pasuram. So, Poya Bediyum Pugudaruvan innum, Teenil Tusagum Sepelo Remba. Like that. So, quickly I just want to discuss this. So from tomorrow onwards, they will go and wake up 10 different girls, and they will all go to Nanda Bhavan, and then wake up the gods, ask their permission, and then wake up Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, and then Balaram, and then Krishna, and then they ask for the prayer. So that's how the whole Tirupavai, very beautiful devotional thing. Okay. Thank you very much. So briefly, what we saw today was, we saw how this deity form of the Lord is most accessible for us. We saw these 4 qualities, right, of Saushilyam, Swamitvam, Vatsalyam, and then Saulabhyam, and then how all these are fully manifest in the deity form of the Lord. That is why it is most accessible. We also saw how the holy name of the Lord is still more accessible to us. And then we also saw about the Archa Vigraha and the Charcha Vigraha, right, of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita also. And then briefly we saw about this Tirupavai, this 5th Pasuram, where just by chanting the names of the Lord, all the sins of the past and whatever we are going to unknowingly commit in future will all be destroyed like cotton put in fire. So, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.